Okay. Startup today and online. We have an online battle. We're happy to see everybody and to start our official part. First, we have some introduction from the organizers, and I'm excited to pass the word to our CEO of Unicorn Battles and Chief Partnership Officer of Startup.Network, Anna Fedorova.
Hold on a second. How's my presentation? Do you see it?
Yes.
Clearly? Okay,
yes,
wonderful. Welcome everyone to the Unicorn Battles in London. As every kid whose English was a second language, it always was my dream to come to London one day. And now I'm there, virtually though, but hello London. And I would like to say that our battle is happening thanks to our sponsors. Our global golden sponsor is Network VC, California Seed Fund, and our global golden sponsor, ICU Ventures. ICU Ventures is a Kiev and London-based venture capital fund that invests in technology companies with ties to Central and Eastern Europe, focused on helping ambitious founders to build global businesses. ICU Ventures makes late seed and Series A investments across the tech spectrum. And of course, we would like to appreciate our silver sponsor, Silicon Valley Syndicate Club. And I would like to remind everyone that the winner of today's battle will be pitching live at the Summer Cup. It will be happening online. It will be a 3-day event, one day for each time zone, starting with the Hong Kong time zone, then moving to London time zone, and one special day for San Francisco time zone. It will be the 28th, 29th, and 30th of July. So please put reminders to a calendar to attend this gala event. And we had been doing the local preliminaries in 27 countries of the world already, and we had done 50 events. Almost 500 startups had pitched live already, and we had gone through 3,500 applications and 5,000 guests we are expecting at our finals. We are welcoming partners and sponsors that would like to join our Unicorn Cup and go together with us all over the world. I would like to introduce you to our company. We are the smart ecosystem of online solutions, services, and platforms that solves almost any task in the field of innovation and startup and VC industry. And we are welcoming startups to our ecosystem, investors, and professional partners who can make money together with us. The core of our system is Startup.Network itself. It's a marketplace for the startups, real businesses that can promote their solutions and projects, and also for the investor, they can find the best deals going over all the applications that are there. And last year we amounted to 1 million users. This year we expect them to triple this number. Unicorn Battles is the oldest part of our system, and it's a great opportunity for the startups to promote themselves and find funding, for investors to find the best deals, and for the partners that can help us grow and be really global. You can see the roadmap. We have been to all those, almost all these countries. There are like a couple countries to go in July, but we have already visited 27 countries of the world and had scored the startups from 125 countries already. And we had been named the largest online pitch event in 2020. No one has done more events online that are dedicated to pitching than us this year. And we are very proud to say that the winners of our battles had already received the funding, more than 120 million in total, and there are more than 500 VCs in our community, and we really appreciate more than 1,000 business angels and private investors who are visiting all our battles, because due to the fact that right now battles are online, you can visit any battle in any part of the world. And we have been doing our events for 11 years already and have done more than 200 of them all over the world. And one of the recent parts of our family is Silicon Finance. It's a special program designated for startups willing to apply to top American accelerators. And we help them to relocate to United States, grant them funds and services worth $50,000. We also invite best speakers and mentors to coach our startups online and offline for our acceleration program. So join us to become a better version of yourself. And Network VC, California Seed Fund, one of the most recent part of our smart family with two current strategies. First one, to participate as an investor in our pre-acceleration program for these chosen startups. And the second one, to be a lead investor in our Silicon Valley Syndicate Fund. And Silicon Valley Syndicate Fund is a special structure that allows syndicates for different startups be easily organized. Now, any investor starting with the check of $10,000 is able to join our syndicates and get an access to the best startups that we had found through our global network. And I would like to pass a word to our CEO of Network VC, our new special entity, Natalie Parsciuto. She will tell you about her new project. Natalie?
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everybody, and I'm glad to see you here today. I'd like to introduce you to our new project, VC House. This is an only invitation online community and a network created exclusively for VCs, where they can exchange deals in which they participate as active or lead investors. And what is more, it is a platform for the specialized offline events like LPGP events, where VCs can find investors for their funds. So, dear judges, I invite you to join VC House. My contact details will be in the chat. And now I'd like to return the floor to our host for today's event, Marina. She will lead you through our unicorn battle in the beautiful city of London. Marina?
Marina, you're muted. We would be more than happy to hear your voice.
Hi again. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Natalie, for this great introduction of the whole group of companies. So getting back to our battle, I would like to say big thanks to our great partners. Here's the next slide. To Silicon Finance Pre-Accelerator, to Kairos Community Europe, who has been supporting us in many battles across Europe, and to Evoir company by Daniel Diepold, because Daniel is also supporting us a lot. So many thanks to our partners, and now we have some time for juries. Yeah, before we have some time for juries, I would like to announce our agenda. So now we have some interesting part of jury introduction. What does it mean? It means that all juries will have 1 minute for a brief intro, for a brief self-presentation, because this is a bright opportunity for networking. This is the first reason. And the second one is that for startups, it would be much more interesting to know your details, what seed rounds you're interested the most, what type of startups you're interested the most. So that will probably give us the better opportunity to match between investors and startups. So then we will have our competition time, and after the last startup, we will have 2 minutes to close the voting and to finalize the voting, and the winners will be announced straight at once today, straight after the last startup is finishing pitching. So after, we will have the networking time. And now I'm very happy to start this jury introduction chapter. And I would like to invite Alexander Soroka, the founder of Startup.Network, to be the first jury who is going to introduce himself. Hi, Alexander. We lost him.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes, Alexander. Hi. Yes, it's your turn.
Get scared for 1 minute, huh?
Yeah, so our fund is usually invest from 50 to 250K in startup which are based in United States or Europe, and we are industry agnostic. Thank you.
I would like to invite Giles, who is the representative
everyone.
of ICU. Hi. Oh, great.
Hello, everyone.
Representative.
I'm Giles Farley, co-head of ICU Ventures. We're a fund dedicated to investing in firms with a strong tie to Ukraine and Eastern Europe. We normally make investments between $250 and $1 million. We are agnostic as far as technology is concerned, and we have a team which is spread between London and Kiev, Ukraine. We'll welcome expressions of interest, and of course, I'd like to extend a thank you to Alexander, Anna, and the entire team for this great global set of events that we've been privileged to be part of. I look forward to the event today.
Thanks, Giles. Who would like to be the next? Maybe Raymond. Raymond, we see you.
Hello. Yes, if you want me to go next, that would be my pleasure. This is my first time as a judge here. It's great to be in touch with everyone virtually. I was very much impressed by the quality of the startups and look forward to hearing the pictures. I'm a mentor and to startups, a number of verticals, and look forward to interacting with some of the companies that are presenting today.
Anybody else who would like to take the floor?
Why don't I do this? Many thanks to Alexander, Anna, and Marina for inviting me. This is the third session. I'm having really good fun here, seeing Malaysian, Japanese, and now British competitors. I manage a private equity fund called the Knights Capital Partners. We invest in companies at a more mature level where they are about to go for an IPO on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. I also list companies on NASDAQ as a consultant, and we also do quite a lot of SPACs, listed special purpose acquisition companies on New York and NASDAQ. Sweet spot for investment is around about $500,000 to $1 million. Focus is on technology, especially medtech, fintech, and also education, cannabis, and basically anything that makes money. Thank you very much.
Great to have you. Wonderful. Yeah, Gulami. Hi.
Hi. Hi, I'm Guillaume. I'm from Validate Venture Partners, and my team and I, we mostly help startup and scale-ups with some growth and business development, all the way to getting them funded. And we usually operate within the US or with European startups, and we are definitely looking forward to see what this battle can bring.
Great to have you. And I see Victoria. Oh, that's an honor to have you so early in the morning. It's in LA.
Hi, everyone. This is Victoria from Expert Dojo. We are an accelerator fund based in Southern California. We invest over 50 companies annually around the globe. And I'm very happy that I'm here. We are industry agnostic, and I don't know how many battles I attended, but thank you, Anna, for arranging this. It was an amazing experience. Looking forward to this battle.
Great to have you on board. Yes.
Thank you.
Who is next? There is no special line, so you just pitch in.
I can jump in.
I can jump in.
Hi, my name is Philip Percon, and I run Bamboo Venture Partners. I'm based in London, and we specialize in early stage seed and Series A startups dealing with enterprise software. And we have about 14 companies that we've invested in, and we invest either $20,000, $30,000, or we go up and we invest 150 to 200, depending on the stage that we come in. So I'd like to thank the organizers for having me. This is exciting, my first time, and looking forward to hearing all the pitches. First time I do this on Zoom, actually.
Wow.
Thanks.
Like in a startup competition way. I've heard a lot of pitches, but not in a startup competition way.
Okay.
And if the lady who does the support section can answer me in the chat, that'd be lovely.
They will sure do. Yes, yeah, they'll take care of it. Don't you worry.
I will jump in.
Yeah, Kirill.
I'm Kirill, founder of Malamud Startups Agency. And first of all, thanks to Anna and Marina for inviting me. It's, I don't know what's the count of the numbers of battles that I already appeared at. It's like 5th or 6th. It's 3rd online, I guess. So at Malamud Startups Agency, we focus on 2 areas. So on the one hand, we support venture capital investors in finding suitable co-investors for their own deals, but also offer them the opportunity to participate in deals of other investors from our network. And on the other hand, we help startups with their storytelling and pitch activities, but also with fundraising and after deal management, like reporting and investor relations and so on. And I'm looking forward for this interesting startups to pitch. And I'm very excited about listening to all those ideas. And please reach out if you need anything. Let's get the party started.
Yeah, that's great. Alexandra, I just thought maybe we should also initiate a prize for a jury who attended the most battles with us. Like, nobody probably attended all 47 of them. We are gonna have this year, but the most.
No, Anna, I don't think so.
It would be fun. Yes.
I also think it's a nice idea. Yeah, but we can discuss it later. Yeah.
Surely, yes. Who wants to go next? Aristos, I see you.
Actually, sorry for jumping in. I think Alex would win this because Alexander is in every battle. So
I will pay the most. Yeah.
I'm still a long way behind. I think this is my 3rd or 4th. So the race is on.
Sure,
Aristos Peters. I'm based just outside of London, and I've been historically involved, I guess, with angel investment. And involved with an angel investment network down here in Surrey, just below London. At the moment, I'm involved with something called De-Risk It, which helps both the investor and accelerator side and the startups. I'll put a link in the chat for startups. They can go and basically get themselves investment profiled. So that's what De-Risk It does. It's a tool really for accelerators and investors and business support organizations to profile using data the investment snapshot of a particular startup going to investment. So it's quite a helpful tool. So startups can do it as well, and they can see how investment ready they may look from an investor's perspective. And thank you very much for inviting me again.
Yep.
Thanks, Aristos. I saw this De-Risk program, and it looks amazing. How another perspective on one pager, how it can briefly convey all the necessary information.
Hi, I'll jump in.
Also, Luca. It would be nice if he would have.
Sure. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Because Luca was helping a lot with that.
Yeah, it's my first battle. Thank you very much, Marina, for inviting. So I'm Luca Cartechini, working from Pretty Awesome Ventures, a London-based fund. We focus on seed stage and Series A, all the way up to 1.5 million investment. Our focus is in B2B across fintech, artificial intelligence, and the future work life. So most of the companies actually pitching today is relevant to our investment thesis. I've already spoken with a few of them. You know, the UK ecosystem is quite small, but I'm looking forward to hear about all the others. And yeah, prior to that, I was investment banking covering the internet retail UK stocks. So I was responsible for Boohoo, ASOS, Ocado, and names like that. But yeah, other than that, thank you very much, guys. I hope that this is the first of many to come. Thank you, Marina.
Thanks, Luca. We actually thought that the UK ecosystem is larger than other European cities.
Well, yeah, probably yes, but not if you compare it to the American market. Probably.
Okay, so it depends on to where to compare. Hi, Eddie. You were going to take the floor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eddie from Singapore. I'm an investor with Vantage Venture. We are an early stage company. We do pre-seed, seed, and also pre-A. So very happy to be one of the jury in this London event. So, and I wish all the participants all the best and good luck. Thank you.
Great to have you.
Hi, Anna. I'll go.
Yeah,
after
sure. Yeah,
Ellie.
Pradita. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Anna, for Marina for the invitation. It's my second battle, I guess. And my name is Dita, and I'm based in Jakarta. We have a fund. It's a CFI in Singapore, based in Singapore. We are actually private equity / venture capital fund, a sector agnostic. The ticket size is around 100K to 50 million US dollar. So we are a bit sector agnostic. And I previously worked with Octopus Investment in London and also Cambridge Enterprise. Glad to be here tonight. Thanks.
Thanks, Tita. We missed seeing you, but we heard you at least.
Yeah, I think I got trouble with the video.
Okay.
Great that you're with us. Yes, we have more juries who would like to speak up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alex,
Okay.
you go ahead.
Okay.
Hi, I'm
Alex.
Dr. Yeah, I'll go first.
Oh, Ruchi. Okay, hi, Ruchi.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ruchi Dana. I'm a doctor and a Stanford MBA. I represent Dana Family Office. I'm logged in here from Dubai. So our family office is based in Dubai. We invest mainly in early stage and pre-IPO deals. In early stage, we do around $250K. And in pre-IPO, it's a little bit larger than that. And I would like to wish all the best to all the startups. I'm looking forward to this. Thanks.
Thanks, Ruchi, and I'm happy that we have Alex today on board. Alex, hi.
Hi, everyone. My name's Alex Reed. I'm a co-founder and partner at Mountside Ventures. Our goal is to optimize the fundraising process for startups and investors. And so our main business is helping startups raise from seed to Series B in the most efficient way possible. So rather than 9 to 12 months, more like 3 to 6 months. So we help with investor readiness, putting you in front of the right relevant investors, and also helping with term sheet negotiation. The other part of our business, we help emerging fund managers raise a fund from LPs and family offices. And yeah, that's me. I'm really excited to see the pictures. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Great to have you. Yes, and we have Anna also.
Hi, thank you, Marina, for inviting me. First of all, this is my first battle. My name is Ana Barjasic. I'm Croatian, and I've been active in the European startup ecosystem for quite a bit now, working with different organizations like the European Business Angels Network, like the Global Entrepreneurship Network, World Bank, etc. And then finally, I founded, after some years, Connectology, which is an advisory company, but also we have an investment vehicle, which is focused on early stage startups, and it's a couple of business angels so we invest in the capacity as business angels. Thank you.
Great to have you. You know that we're going to have a battle in Balkans also?
Yeah, well, I can look into that.
Yes, it will be a pleasure. And who wants to go next? One. Who wants to go next? Two. Who wants to go next? Three.
I can go next.
Just in time.
Hi.
Yes, Hugo.
Oh, nice.
Hi everyone. I'm Hugo. I'm an investment manager at Pi Labs, which is a London-based VC focused on PropTech. So we invest in everything that's related remotely to real estate. And we are now closing our Fund 3, which will allow us to invest anywhere between £250,000 up to £1 million. And just happy to be here and really appreciate you inviting me to my first battle as well. So if you have a startup in this space, please feel free to reach out to me after this or during. Just send me a LinkedIn text and I'll be sure to answer back.
That's wonderful. Of course, you can share all your contacts in chat for everyone to see if you would like to. And
sure thing.
Dear juries, did we miss anyone? Does anyone want to speak up? And I guess not. Marina, we're back to you. And
okay, so I would like to announce to juries again that in case you didn't find your voting links or there are some other technical problems, please write in the chat to Julia, because I'm not capable to answer ASAP, and Julia is helping with everything you might need. And also I would like to announce that we have an amazing opportunity to all the guests. First of all, we have an amazing opportunity for you to also put your votes and evaluate our startups and to pick up the best one which you liked. And so you go to our landing page, the main page for Unicorn Battles in London, and there you will see the list of startups, and you can use just thumbs up or down to put your vote. And so at the end, we will announce the startup who won the guests' sympathy. So please, you can also be involved in the process, in the evaluating process.
And for juries also.
Yeah, and for juries, you have your voting link. It was sent yesterday. In the letter with the title voting link. And you can just enter the voting link, scroll down and see all the startups who will be pitching exactly according to their numbers, the pitching order they're gonna be pitching. So you can put the marks starting from 1 up to 5, where the 5 is the highest mark. 5, we are normally evaluating the startup investment potential. So 5, it's the highest, the highest investment potential. So, and as I said, today, straight advance after the last startup, we will have the results. We will announce the results. So don't forget to vote during the process, during the pitching process. And I think now we can already start our pitch competition. And the first one who will open our pitch competition is Cashflow. So I'm very glad to introduce Sam. I know that Sam is here.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Great. So I will share my screen. And I will start to share 3 facts that you probably know. The first one is millennials are the worst at financial planning. And software hasn't solved this issue. Nothing addressed their spending behaviors. However, we know that gamification is something that changes people's behavior. So what we're doing is we are bringing the power of gamification to the world of personal finance. And we create a game where people can compete at saving. The goal is to save as much as possible from your real life income to level up your in-game avatar. And Cash Coach is the character that will give saving challenges, track your progress, and keep you motivated on a daily basis. All your real life behavior will be reflected through your avatar. And there's an experience bar representing the percentage of income saved. You also have a poison bar reflecting the credit card debt. And your avatar can progress up to level 5. We launched that in the UK 1 month ago, and we have a core users who are very active. Today, they're playing on their solo competition, and now we are working on the multiplayer mode. And if they can't beat their friends at saving, then they can hire a Cash Coach for $6.99 a month, and they will know exactly which actions they need to take on their behaviors to win. For all users, Cash Coach will also monitor and track their bills. Whenever it can find a cheaper deal, it will offer them to switch and take a commission on average $40 for each switch. So we launched that a little more than 1 month ago. We had 800 signed up all across the world, half of them in the UK. 300 people connected their bank account, 200 are monthly active. And when we say active, they're really active. They use the app 7 times a week, even more than that. And the industry average for finance app is only 1.2. So our users are 5 times more engaged with our MVP. We also created a cool WhatsApp group where people are happy and they enjoy the community. And have a lot of very, very touching messages that people say it really changed their perception and their life and the way they think about money. I have two great co-founders. Alex owns the tech, Angela does all the illustrations and the animation, while I take care of all the game mechanics and the data science. So I invite you to try it now if you're based in the UK. We had a very successful crowdfunding campaign with more than 400 investors. We raised 250K and happy to have a discussion with investors. We're looking for a micro ticket, something like 50K, and maybe a bigger round next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. So now questions and answers, perfect time, and by the way.
Can I ask you, Sam, by the way, that's really good. And I've just looked at your video, your product video, and it's really good as well. You said right at the beginning that gamification changes behavior. Could you sort of validate that a bit for me?
Mm-hmm. When we look at all the most successful fitness apps that try to put people into the right habit of eating, exercising, all the most successful, they use gamification principles. So for example, Strava, they put people to compete at cycling the fastest on a certain segment of the road. And it drives people to use the Strava and do cycling and improve the performance. Same for Duolingo. If you know Duolingo to learn about languages, leaderboard competition, or all these mechanics are proven to work on people.
But in your sector, any examples in your sector?
No example in our sector except our app, which has 5 times more engagement than the other. So we are the first one to bring gamification to personal finance.
Hi,
This
Sam.
sounds great. Yeah, Luca?
Yeah, one question from me. Nice to see you again. So I was wondering, like traditional banks and digital banks such as Revolut and Monzo are also starting to offering some budgeting tools. So do you perceive them as competitor, or you compete more like in the game space, in the gamification space? So what do you think about the big players entering in the space as well?
So there are at least 100, if not thousands, of budgeting apps. It never solved the problem. Budgeting doesn't motivate people to change their behavior. What we do and what the Revolut and Monzo don't do is we create the game mechanics, the gamified experience. That's what people come to use Cash Coach.
And which are the initial feedbacks for the customer? I mean, you guys launched 1 month ago, so I was just wondering what the customer says and if you're working on new features.
Yep. Initial feedback is great. They love the competition. They love that Cash Coach is actually giving them the challenges. They don't need to think of how to budget. Obviously, they want more. The number one requested feature today is competition with friends. And that's why we are building the leaderboard, the victory recognition, and how people will compete. The second one is to have a smart bill tracker. And I realize that there's nothing good in the market. So that's something that we are releasing today.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Hi, Sam. Quick question as well, slightly about competition. Obviously, there's a lot of competitors out there. And the CAC, the customer acquisition cost in this area tends to be really high. How do you expect to compete? And also, how did you go about winning the 800 customers that you mentioned at the beginning?
Mm-hmm. We grew organically, and our primary growth strategy is the virality. So we want people to compete with their friends, which will invite them. And if every user can invite at least 1 or 2 friends, then you create a viral loop. The second and complementary one will be the SEO. We will tackle the financial education. Everyone talks about financial education, but nobody is really addressing it. And after 1 month's launch, I start to really understand what are the struggles people have in being good at managing their money. And we will create a Cash Academy That will be the one place where anyone can learn everything about money, explain it in a very simple way. And that will be very good for SEO. Our 800 users, they come up organically once when we launched.
For inviting your friends, do you get any bonus or anything through that organic?
Yeah, we will put a referral in place. Each friend you invite, you get 1 month free. They also get 1 month premium free. Yeah, and
Cool.
points. Yeah.
Thanks.
The last question, if anybody has.
Sorry,
Is
maybe
there any financial benefit that you provide to your customers? I mean, if they were to win in the game amongst their group of friends or peers, is there any financial reward? And can you lessen the burden financially by having other companies promote their financial services or products on your platform?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first, the financial benefit is you build your wealth. We target people who want to save more. They don't want it to be broke. They want to buy a house. That's their intrinsic motivation. We just give them the strength to get the right habit to achieve their goal. Then about bringing other financial products, that's something definitely we can do maybe next year, to create a marketplace where we will compare the best saving account, the best investment account, the best fees, help people to remortgage, refinance their cards. There's a lot of opportunity that we can have, yes.
Thanks, Sam. And I would like to, Anna wanted to ask some question, and that
Sorry,
Sam was the first, and he was almost starting to be the first. I saw that. So you have a bit of more benefits to have one more question.
Oh, thank you. I was muted, so I didn't notice that on time. So first of all, thank you for your presentation. I think it totally makes sense from the aspect of the behavioral science. We are now working with the London School of Economics to launch a behavioral institute focused on entrepreneurship and startups and innovation. And I think it's very interesting that you're using gamification. What I'm wondering, you mentioned WhatsApp group. Can you explain a bit more about that, and how are you planning to coordinate basically all of your users with such a tool?
Mm-hmm. So basically, I throw all our first users beta and all people who come and join to WhatsApp group, and then I ask them, oh, what do you think about that? What do you think about this feature? I post screenshots of the new design, and we have this very interactive way of building the product week after week, and every week then it goes to implementation and they give me the feedback and this and that.
Is that very sustainable long term?
Long term, no, but so far it works very well.
Okay, excellent.
Now, I think long term that we will create a forum and community with different sections, but so far the interactivity is very good on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
I'm excited to pass the word to our next participant. It's Pink, another wealth management solution. So hi, Rupert.
Hi, Marina. Let me share the screen here and get that up. We've also got Seth. Are you off mute now?
I believe so, yes.
There we go. We can hear you there as well. So, yeah, Seth, why don't you fire away?
Okay, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having us here today. Before we start, I'd like you please to dispel any thoughts that you might have about what an investment app is and does, because our unique technology and business model creates a new category of social investing, and it enables people to work and learn and earn together.
See, the problem that we're trying to solve here is pretty simple. Retail investors are frankly getting screwed. Meanwhile, professional fund managers are really only performing for 3, maybe 5 years and then pretty much implode. There's got to be a better way, or at least that's what we thought.
And surprisingly, that is where we come in, because our portfolio is actually controlled by tens of thousands of fund managers, our users, who all contribute to a proprietary AI that seeks to find the experts within that community at a specific time and for a specific asset. And we do all of this whilst providing access to the portfolio for free to anyone, anywhere.
So you may have heard of the wisdom of crowds, and our technology is inspired by its bias reduction and its proven forecast technique, but we build upon this. So our AI continually seeks individuals within inside our community in either individual basis or a small group that are consistently accurate. And then we use this data to decide who to listen to and who not to listen to. And then we rebalance our portfolio for best performance based on that data. So we started running our proof of concept portfolio back in February of 2019, and to February of this year, we've done a 15% return. And year to date, throughout the COVID period, we've done 11% return already.
So we have a really unique business model that means that we can be free for everyday investors as long as they participate in the community. And we use the data that they drive to produce reports for tier 1 institutions on the one hand, as well as managing capital for the likes of family offices on the other hand, which generates significant recurring and scalable income. And on the note of everyday investors, that is really where Pink shines, because we're growing organically at 9.7% weekly, and we've built up to over 30,000 users so far on zero marketing budget. Our cost of acquisition is way under $1.
So we're neither somewhere where you place your money and forget, nor are we a trading platform where statistically you will go and lose most of your money. We provide an alternative where you can participate without the overbearing responsibility of being correct on every trade.
And so, of course, this wouldn't be possible without the team behind Pink. Together, we've built multiple startups. We've had successful exits, including myself, while on the financial side, our CIO and AI lead come from some of the largest financial institutions in the world.
Right now, we're raising £2 million on a convertible note, 50% of which is already allocated, and our overfunded crowdfunding campaign is live on Seedrs right now.
So thanks for listening to us, guys, and we would be delighted to hear any questions you might have.
Thanks, Rupert and Seth. So 3 minutes for questions.
Hello, hi guys, hi Rupert, hi Seth. So my question is the wisdom of crowd more of a marketing tool or an instrument to beat the market? And the follow-up question would be, I mean, what percentage of your portfolio is allocated, is driven by the wisdom of crowd?
So the really easy answer to that is that we do use the wisdom of crowds as an important data point, but it is not the main driver of where we place funds. And that's simply because the wisdom of crowds on its own on a moving target is not accurate enough. It is it provides an accuracy of between sort of 3 and 5%, but we need to close that down to sort of 1.5% if we are looking to trade on it. And then in terms of how much we apply of the wisdom of crowds in our overall portfolio, at the moment it's between 5 and 20%, and we have discretionary management under our FCA regulations to move that. But we are planning over time, over the next 2 to 3 years, for it to be the full 100% of the fund. And there's a new release coming next week that will drive a lot of that technology.
But using the wisdom in crowds it's certainly you know, it's beneficial to marketing, but it's at the core of the business. We're empowering everyday investors to have an input, to have a say on where their money goes, which is something that's been quite difficult. You know, you either put your money into a pre-built portfolio and you have no say whatsoever, which can bring up all kinds of ethical concerns and other disagreements. And at the other extreme, users are left to fend for themselves entirely. And we see that with many of these trading platforms, that puts them at really high risk. So we're you know, trying to fix the users having to go to those two extremes, and we're using it in a way that does actually benefit the investment decisions.
Okay, thank you guys.
I have one question, guys. Well, looking at your financials, you state that you have no fees except the £25 account minimum and so on. But how do you make money?
So we charge institutional investors for managing their capital. So we have a few products based off the data that we're unable to serve to retail investors because of the risk profiles. So we use those to generate money that provide everyday investors with zero fees.
Could you talk a little bit just about why institutional investors would use the product? Typically, institutional investors have a kind of inbuilt bias against this kind of product, as a lot of people in the institutional investors get paid handsomely to make the decisions you're going to be making.
Well, yeah, I mean, actually, a lot of the larger investors have, certain ways of investing, and the fact that we are very different and counter-cyclical and almost an alternative fund strategy. When we're managing AUM, it's very attractive for some of these bigger players to put small amounts of money into our portfolio. We're already talking to one of the top 5 global banks. We're in advanced discussions with them, and we have every confidence that we will be picking up large amounts of investment over time. On the other side of things, we have the data that we're selling, and we're doing that often with data brokers. And again, there's a huge interest with this because we're a unique source of data and signals, whereas most of the other signals out there are just new ways of processing existing data. So again, we're quite well progressed with those discussions, and it ultimately comes down to a large amount of differentiation with what's out there already.
And what was your current AUM?
We're at 100K AUM. We're on track for about 10 million AUM, with about, roughly speaking, about 50 million or so in the pipeline, which we'll expect to close around 10 by the end of the year.
Thank you.
So
All right, guys, I have 2 questions. All right.
The last one, because
okay. Right, just a quick one, because I just came from FinTech. We organized a FinTech webinar. One of our portfolio companies is doing their equity crowdfunding now. They are doing robo-advisory. So my questions on one is, how do you compare a crowd, invest together compared to robo-advisors who are emotionless, and they actually do a lot of data analysis and of course analyze data based on and based on that they invest on behalf of investors. Second question is, if I'm a fund manager, why do I need to follow the crowd? Because I have certain information or expertise, and I make judgment different from the crowd. That's why I outperform the normal investors. Okay, that's my 2 questions.
So yes, on the last point, it's true that fund managers tend to outperform, everyday investors. Of course, that's true. But the stats that we showed earlier show that fund managers do not beat the market over time. So you're better off generally with a tracker, which is why we've seen such a rise in passive investment over the years. But actually, so we don't represent a choice between robo-advisors or AI and fund managers, who are the experts, and the crowd. We're the only system that actually incorporates the strengths of all of those 3 forms of intelligence into one decision-making system. So we take what comes from the crowd. We don't generally do what the average of the crowd says. That's wisdom of crowds, which we're inspired by, but we've significantly advanced on that by using our AI to spot patterns in the market and to work out, based on individuals within the crowd, looking at their individual track records, which small percentage of those are likely to be correct at any point in time. That then gives a filtered signal to our expert fund managers, and they can then make their final decision with that data. So if you look at a typical fund manager, they wouldn't have that opportunity. And if you say, even someone that's very skeptical about the value of this information, if you say to them, okay, would you prefer to have that information and choose what to do with it, or not have the information? They will all say, I believe I'd prefer to at least have that information and have the opportunity to incorporate it into my decision making.
Thanks, Seth. I have to pass the word to another participant, and actually to remind everybody that you can ask all other questions to our startups in the chat today, or using to have their contacts using our landing page also. So the third participant today is small robot company who has some interesting AI solution in farming. So hi, Ben.
Hi, Marina.
Hi, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, all good. Yeah, looking forward to it. Okay.
Yes, you can start. It's fine.
Okay. Hi, my name's Ben, and I am the co-founder of the Small Robot Company. And I'm talking to you about per-plant farming and the opportunity to be part of the £380 billion fourth agricultural revolution. So the world's largest crops are being grown in a broken system. Damage has been caused by heavy tractors, which are, and is repaired through heavy chemicals, which makes farming unprofitable and unsustainable. And farmers know this. Right, there are a huge movement towards sustainable methods, and the potential market size for a new way of doing arable farming is, as I said, hundreds of billions of pounds. After 6 months of talking to arable farmers, we found out that they wanted to adopt new technologies, but were afraid of things breaking or being superseded. So what's needed? Well, is a revolution where wasteful, soil-crushing, unsustainable models are replaced by a system that is accurate, efficient, and sustainable. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce you to Tom, Dick, Harry, and Wilma. Tom collects data all day, every day, and sends it to Wilma, and she converts it into per-plant understanding of the crops and weeds and instructions for Dick and Harry. Dick cares for the crop, killing weeds using electricity, and Harry precision plants each seed with minimal disturbance. The robots are very light, so they don't compact the soil, but you can't buy these robots. They're provided as a per-hectare service. So arable farmers can trial a small hectareage and the machinery is never superseded. So any size farm can use this, although we prefer to stick around about 200 hectares or more. And because we've been speaking to farmers constantly, we know their price point, £400 per hectare in the UK and around £250 per hectare in the Americas. And it makes financial sense. So an average farm can increase its profit by about 30%. Developing robots is hard. Right? The tech must work and work reliably. That's why we have a process of developing and then productionizing each robot in the service. Wilma is ready to go now, and we're manufacturing a limited number of Toms with Tharsis for paid work this October. We're also ruggedizing our Dick prototype for manufacture, and it'll be working in field in October 2021. Developing this technology needs the best people. So we've recruited people from Kinetic, JCB, Virgin Galactic, Dyson and Spring.io, as well as 2 PhDs and myself, an experienced entrepreneur of many years, to develop the robots and Wilma. We already know our customer base. 4,000 hectares have already prepaid for our service, 20,000 hectares are being converted to contracts, 600 farms have actually invested in us. So we have a clear path to what's profitable once the markets are delivered. The development of the machinery and the intelligence takes time. However, once we can manufacture Dick to support Tom and Wilma, we can move quickly to profit. We've achieved a lot in the funding that we've received, and after a successful round raising money from 7% farmers in the engaged public, we have runway to the start of 2022. But these are uncertain times. So we want to extend that runway, and we are offering an extension to our seed round, round about the same rates as the post money on our last round, for £2 million. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben. Questions?
Hi, a quick question. Do you have any special methods to partner with the farmers? As you mentioned that you partnered with 50 farmers within 6 months. And is there any particular way that you can increase the number of farmers within your reach?
Yeah, well, there are many ways we can increase those numbers. We're engaging directly with farmers and with farm organizations in the UK, US, Canada, Brazil, and Argentina. And we are signing up farmers as potential customers all the time. The 20,000 hectares I've spoken to are people who have signed an MOU previously, and we're now converting to contracts, so they will take up our service as soon as it's ready to go. The interest from farmers is not short. It is something they've really been crying out for the two reasons, for sustainability and for profit.
When you said that you help increase productivity by 30%, is your baseline a farm that is using other precision farming techniques involving satellites or drones? Or is it versus a farmer who is using, let's say, techniques that are more old-fashioned than that?
No, well, satellites and drones don't actually allow you to reduce chemical usage, and they still require tractors in field. So the actual cost per running those farms is roughly the same. There are ways you can use variable rate spraying to bring down those costs, but they're relatively limited compared to the rest of the costs involved. By stripping out the costs, the capital costs of the machinery, the fuel, and the labor associated with running those, and by taking out all the chemicals in some places and 90% of them in others, that's where we bring down the costs. And that's not taking into account any increase in yields. there is a potential increase in yields of up to 120%.
Thank you.
Any more questions? We still have 1 minute.
Yes.
Sure. Well, go on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, when you think about an exit here, do you think about this business running by itself forever, or do you look to do an exit to one of the big manufacturing companies, the John Deeres of the world? Could you talk a little bit about how the company could develop over the next 5 years?
Certainly. So we're certainly looking to partner with large-scale companies to be able to help us do international rollout, and we're talking to some very interesting people in Canada and the US around that at the moment. In terms of an industry sale, it's certainly something we would consider, although our model does tend to move us away from the traditional machinery manufacturers. However, we've had conversations with agri-chemical companies who are very interested and other challenger machinery brands in the space. However, our ideal is to be able to IPO and for us to become a massive company, but we appreciate that if we need to partner or to sell to another company to achieve the scale and the vision of what we want to, then that's what we'll do.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sam. And please feel free to ask some more questions in the chat. And startup number 4 for today, it's another AI solution in food tech. Sergey, Auto Canteen, it's called. So.
Hi everyone. Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be part of the event. And let me share my screen. Can you see me?
Yes, it's perfectly seen.
Great. So I'd like to introduce our AI-powered self-checkout solution for catering. Welcome. So AI is the new electricity. It will transform every industry and create huge economic value. This is a beautiful quote from Andrew Ng from Stanford University. The problem that we are solving is that the cashiers are still stuck in the last century. They do the same routine task, a boring job, unhappy workers. It's inexpensive and risky for the business, also slow and efficient human labor. How we solve the problem is we created a robot that does this exact job, but better. So machines are obviously better in the routine. They're cheap to run, minimal risks. They are lightning fast and consistent and scalable. Our proposition is that this is a software as a service model. We take service charge of 4%, and the terminal can either be rented or purchased. We eliminate queues because we can install as many terminals as necessary. And there are other benefits such as quality control for catering companies and social distancing in the current situation. The benefits for the caterers are obvious. They save about 64% on labor costs. So, for example, 10 self-checkout units will save them £170,000 per annum. We've got in touch with industry, with leading industry catering companies, and we've got very positive feedback. And at the moment, our first client is a multinational, multi-billion catering company that's headquartered in US. Market size in EU only is 25 billion of contract catering, and UK market size is 5 billion. So this solution is globally scalable, and there are no limitations to go into any markets. And the global market is about 130 billion to 200 billion. Competition, we've got competitors. However, as this is emerging technology, there are not so many competitors in the market. There are some startups there is a startup in the US, a couple in Europe, and one in Asia. that are still in early stages. So this niche is not taken. Projected revenue in 5 years' time, if we consider taking 2 to 4%, if we process from 2 to 4% of catering sales, we will see revenue up to 40 million euro. At the moment, we've got the pilots. At the moment we are running a pilot project, and the commercial usage and mass production will start later this year. Founding team, we're myself, Sergey Khomenko, and Rosti Kirei. We're software consultants with banking and e-commerce experience, over 15 years. And yeah, this is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey. Any questions?
Those invested?
Pardon?
Maybe yeah. Can I jump in?
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you for your presentation. I would be curious to understand a little bit more about how it works. For example, you put on a platter, let's say a couple of different meals or whatever. And for example, if you put a paper over it or something that blocks this visual information for the robot, how do you handle that?
Obviously, you know, this system can be cheated. So if there is an intention to cheat the system and block the vision, there is the robot will not solve this because it needs to see the food. And our target market is those places where the clients are, you know, permanent. So there is a permanent base of employees or students. So catering companies applying this in, for example, universities or office centers, they will not really see much of the fraud. So we're not going after canteens that are just on a high street.
Okay, and just a quick follow-up in terms of maintenance and assistance, because you're targeting a global market. How will you deal with that? Do you have a network of partners? Or
yes, we will partner with a company who will help us to serve these machines. So we plan to outsource the manufacturing and servicing the machines. And at the moment we are starting from UK, so, and then EU and elsewhere. However, we've already had interest from US and the Middle East, but we'd like to focus on UK first.
Okay, thank you.
Have you considered giving the machines away for free, but charging a higher percentage of the sales as your service charge?
Yes, it's one of the offers actually. We can either sell them as one-off for £1,000, or there is a rental charge of £100 per month. So it's if they want pay-as-you-go model, they clients can sign up for a rental model, and they would just pay £100 more. However, I don't know if I asked you your question directly.
I've lived in Hong Kong, so everything is so cheaply made in China. We will basically flood the market with these machines. Everybody uses it because it's free, and then you charge, let's say, 5%, 6% of the food cost for it.
I think that's negotiable. We could definitely go for it.
Okay, Sergey, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Can I have one more question, Anna? Anna, can I have one more question?
think you might have a connection.
Marina, Anna, what's happening?
Just ask.
We lost someone.
You lost connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. So I'm excited to introduce startup number 5. This is Zeo Health, and a very interesting solution in proprietary biosensor technology. So Neil, hi.
Hi everyone. I'm Neil, co-founder of Zeo Health. And we develop platform biosensor technology. And using this technology, we develop portable testing devices to give instant results. So we've filed 2 PCT patents, and we've raised 3 rounds of investment, VC and angel investors. And we've also formed collaborations with various private companies and research institutes around the world, and we're supported by J&J Innovation. We now have offices in Shenzhen and London, which is great for development. So our initial product is Elosia. This is where individuals will receive personalized advice to improve their nutrition and lifestyle through molecular level testing technology. At the moment, we rely on experts and nutrition experts or fitness individuals to give us that knowledge. There's no access to instant home testing, and whatever is available, such as mail-to-lab technology, is very expensive. So we're giving users the opportunity to test a range of parameters in their urine from the comfort of their homes. Within 60 seconds, they will receive nutrition and lifestyle advice through the Elosia software app. Weekly testing will enable users to understand their body's needs, increase performance, energy, and overall health through personalized nutrition plans and positive lifestyle changes. So initially, we're testing ketones, hydration, pH, vitamin C, and electrolytes. We're targeting the UK market initially with a market size of 8.3 billion. And our route to market includes B2B partnerships in the beginning through gyms, and then insurance companies, and then B2C. We charge £8 a month, and we have a margin of 70%. So we also have other products in the pipeline. We have a therapeutic drug monitoring device, which is currently being tested on blood samples within Johns Hopkins University in the US. We also have a research tool for research institutes, which we supply to research institutes. And we've also licensing our technology out for the development of 5 different applications. The team includes various individuals. There's myself, Rory, and Shalin as co-founders. I have a medical degree and also an MBA from University of Oxford. Rory has a background in engineering and a business degree from Imperial College London. And also Shalin has a PhD in biosensors from Hong Kong and Imperial College London. We have 4 advisors on board for our science and technology. And we're raising £406,000 through crowdfunding initially for marketing strategy for Elosia, and then specifically raising a larger round in the beginning of 2021. And that's it.
Thank you, Neil. Perfect timing. Questions?
Yeah, can I ask a question on this, Neil? Thank you for that. Super helpful. What is it in your technology that you can apply through across so many industries, like you've said on slide 10? Is it the biomarkers that you get? I just want to understand what is the core technology that allows you to do so many different things.
It's actually the technology itself, the core technology that we spent the last 4 years developing. It's an electrochemical based sensor, which basically means that we designed a target, the molecule that is required to bind a target, and basically because it's a synthetic molecule that we have to develop, it's something that we can develop for multiple targets and in multiple fluids, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
A quick question from me, guys. I mean, on the distribution channel, you mentioned B2B starting with gyms, but what about nutritionists, possibly GPs, hospitals? Do you see those as a potential B2B clients as well going forward? And also, like, I didn't quite understand how is the pricing working? I mean, who do you charge and how much?
Yeah, sure. So basically we're doing the fitness centers already have our target user for this product, and so it's to reduce our marketing budget. We're going through fitness centers to target their users first, and that's the main reason why we chose fitness centers first. And eventually, depending on a test range, because we want to introduce test ranges that screen for early signs of disease. Once we introduce them, because they have to go through CE marking for the next 8 to 12 months, we will then target healthcare institutions such as GPs, such as pharmacies as well. And what was your next question?
It was more on the pricing. I mean, how do you monetize the solution?
Yes, so it's £8 a month to the end user. So at the moment, because it's based specifically on the Elosia product that we're launching with these tests through fitness centers, it's the end user £8 a month. It's not the fitness center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, Neil. From my understanding that your first price is like around like £8 a month, right? But in your staging of the growth staging, you mentioned that you would like to develop the second version of the software and also the third version, and it will affect the pricing as well. Have you planned how those pricing stages will do after you develop the second and the third version? Have you planned those pricing strategy for the product itself?
Yeah, so it really depends on the test. So depending on the test, we can add it to the same cartridge, which is, so for example, the ones we're launching right now are health and wellness. If we increase the health and wellness test, we'll add them to that cartridge. And so it's £8 a month for specifically them. And then we will add, depending on the categories, early signs of diseases, we add another price to it, basically.
Okay, thanks.
How do folks get the cartridges, Neil?
We post them, so they're posted to the user to where they live, really. So far we've manufactured 40,000 strips because we're starting beta in July and aiming to launch in September. So yeah, the plan is just direct to consumer.
And so there's a cartridge and there's also something the cartridge goes in, and both of those have to be mailed to the user. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that also depends on the test again. Depending on the test, because we use quantitative technology as well as semi-quantitative. Quantitative requires a physical device with the cartridge going in, and the semi-quantitative doesn't require that. You can just get the results from basically a camera image recognition software that takes that identifies the change on the cartridge itself. So it really depends on the specific test.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Neil. Startup number 7 is coming. So this is a creative marketplace. And Theo, are you with us?
Oh, we're gonna.
Yeah, we're with you.
Yeah, hi.
Sharing on screen now.
Yeah, we see you.
Great, and we click present.
The screen is sharing pending.
Can you see our screen?
Yeah, we see it's fine.
Wonderful.
Hi, we are the founders of Striken Live, creative live shopping community. Striken offers a dynamic e-commerce platform for creative businesses where customers watch live streams and click to buy easily in real time. My name is Rayma.
I'm Theo.
And together we have a diverse set of skills that have helped us build Striken with our small team of 2 and take it from strength to strength in just 8 months. Creative businesses and artists have products with personality and stories that their fans love seeing and hearing about. However, these are very poorly communicated on a traditional web shop. COVID-related social distancing measures have also cancelled events and reduced opportunities where they interact and connect with customers. Enter Striken. Striken Live allows businesses to sell concurrently while they interact with fans on live video. Audiences can watch and buy easily, and there's no download and no sign up. And here's the coolest bit. The creators are able to update the products that they're showing live to buy as they show it live on video. And this makes it as close to a real customer interaction as is digitally possible. We are consistently onboarding creative businesses via Etsy and social media and aim to build a hub of artists and creative businesses selling via live video in our engaged community. Since our first stream in November last year, we have taken £1,843 in sales from only 13 streams that we have run so far, and we're now revenue generating. The graph may look like it's leveling off, but June still has a week to go, and this week is set to be our biggest week yet in sales. Colette was our first stream, and it was amazing to see her take £235 on our platform, some of whom were completely new customers that she'd never met before. John Turner, in our most successful stream so far, took £612 in his 1.5-hour artist stream with a brilliant on-site conversion rate of 19.4%. Our numbers in our growth curve are a mere indicator of the growth potential. We take a commission of 15% plus 20p on each sale on our platform. And if we consider, for example, that just every Etsy seller in the UK streams with us, each of them only has to take £1,000 annually to give us an annual turnover of 48.75 million. There are very few companies doing live stream related sales at the moment, and with our features and designs, we have cornered a unique niche in the market for creative businesses. We're looking for £200,000 in seed investment, which will enable us to scale to 1,100 clients. The majority of this will be spent on development and marketing. Thank you for listening, and if you'd like to join the live stream evolution, contact us. Floor's open for questions. Thank you.
Thanks. Perfect timing, guys. Thanks.
Hi.
Any questions?
I'm just trying to get my head around this. I'm reflecting on it. Is this kind of like a shopping channel, but online?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
with
is.
a lower barrier to entry, and for people that make their stuff, because we found that people love seeing artists making their stuff and buying into not just the product, but the person behind the product.
So just like a shopping channel, you want the highest profitability on a product, I guess. And how does that work for you? How do you review and select which ones you will and won't display?
So currently, we are lining up our artists and our creators, and then we have the ability, we're planning then on expanding and having it open. So we're drawing the line at people curating or creating their own things. So not multi-level marketing, but rather individuals that have like a real passion and drive behind what they have to show and share.
And currently, we approach the businesses and we get them, creators, and get them on board. And we look really for people with higher social media following, because we know the engagement rates are quite high and they engage well with their fans, and their fans want to see more about their personal lives and their creative processes.
And how does it actually work? Do you guys have a particular type of artist that you guys go after, or anybody can join?
Yeah, so at the moment we're going after artists, but we're growing really quickly, so we're having people contact us. When you go live, we'll upload your products, and then you have a companion little mobile app on your phone. And when you go live with us, you're able to change your website in real time to show what you want to show. So you can update your products as people are watching.
Okay, so people get a integration link for them to add that to their website, or an app, or how does it work?
So people come on through our website, so we'll give them stream keys in much the way that YouTube Live or Twitch Live do it.
And kind of like, there are other businesses that give you, there's other businesses that can give you integration to your website, but our idea is for creators and artists. It's not just about the profit also comes from the community. So we want to bring in all these creators together on our single creative live shopping community, where you have people with a bigger following sharing their audience with a smaller following, so everyone kind of grows and monetizes at the same time. And that's kind of the idea of creating the community to help to support these creators sell.
All right.
Is there any competitive advantage that you guys offer versus, for example, that creators can also like sell through Instagram and Facebook?
I'm so sorry, could you repeat your question?
Yeah, any competitive advantage that you offer versus, for example, like all the creators that would like to sell via Facebook or via Instagram? Because I just realized that you guys also compete directly with those two apps, right? The Instagram
Yeah.
and
So absolutely. So on Facebook Live, people will often send PayPal invoices through messaging. So we offer people to be able to buy without having to switch contexts from one to the other. So you can kind of purchase from within the stream without having to swap. When you hit buy, you'll go through to a buy page, but you'll also be able to see the stream and follow, so you won't kind of lose the context. We've tried to remove all the barriers from people making purchases so that they can make purchases as simple as talking, like an extension of just another way of engaging.
And also the other thing we've got is, which you'll be able to see in a product demo, you actually can change the product live as you're showing it. So it's really like very real in a digital way that you don't
we'd
really
love to show you a demo later.
get on Facebook or Instagram at the moment.
all right, thanks.
Thanks, many thanks. Now startup number 7 is coming, and this is an interesting all-in-one home recycling solution, and the company name is Lasso. And Stuart, hi, are you ready? Super ready. We see you.
Hello, yes, I'm ready.
Now we see you, great.
Excellent. Hang on, I'm just getting myself set up, 1 second. Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Stuart Chater. I manage communications at Lasso. So when it comes to household waste, the world has reached a crisis point. By 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Less than 50% of what we put into our recycling bins is actually recycled. And just 2% of plastics are closed loop recycled, which is where your materials are recycled and made back into a product of equivalent value. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation estimates that this is between 80 to 120 billion US dollars worth of plastic packaging value lost to the economy every year. So it's time to take things into our own hands. This is Lasso, the world's first home recycling solution that gives back to you and the planet. Lasso gives you the power to transform recycling from the corner of your kitchen. The way the system works is that we accept your plastic, glass, and metal containers. We wash and remove the labels. We flake, grind, or granulate and store these different materials in pure streams. From there, between 3 and 8 times a year, the Lasso team will come to collect your pure recycled materials through our on-demand pickup system. We then sell the materials to manufacturers to be used in new products, and we give you back a financial return for the materials that you recycle. On top of this, in areas that have a bottle deposit return scheme, such as California, we will provide you the value of those bottle deposits without you having to leave your home. All this gives you control, convenience, more incentive to recycle, and provides you with an easy way to track the environmental impact you're having. Our initial target market is in California, as the state already has a strong commitment to recycling and the environment. One revenue stream will be B2C sales or subscriptions to the Lasso system, and another major stream will be sales of the recycled materials to manufacturers. Lasso is raising up to £15 million to commercialize the product. The commercialization funds will take the Lasso product and ready it for manufacture on a production line. In addition to readying us for mass production, these funds will also allow us to trial the Lasso product in a pilot rollout to 100 households in our California launch area. So join Lasso in our mission to change the face of recycling forever. Contact me to organize an initial conversation at sc@lassoloop.com. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. I already want this device in my kitchen.
Stuart,
You can have it.
Stuart, the machine looks very small. How big is the volume and how much does it cost me to have it installed in my kitchen?
So, sorry, the first part was how big is it?
Yeah, it looks terribly small. How much rubbish can it take?
So the appliance will be roughly the size of a fridge, or between a dishwasher and a fridge in the initial rollout. So we want it to be that size for that exact reason you've asked. We need the larger it is, the more materials we can store. So we could have a smaller one for apartments, but then we would have to do more regular pickups, and the convenience of having it only a few times a year is reduced. The second part was how much does it cost? So we'll have two models. One would be an outright purchase, or we'd have a subscription model. The outright purchase, you're looking initially with our first rollout, as with all new technologies, quite expensive. It will be around the price of a high-end dishwasher. But over time, with scale, that cost will reduce drastically.
Stuart, have you thought about, just to give us a sense, if someone were to purchase that dishwasher or that high-end dishwasher, or your product at that high-end dishwasher price, what the payback period would be for a normal user?
Yes, so we've looked
not the moral payback, of course, but the financial payback.
Yeah, we would expect that you would, over 4 to 5 years, recover in a bottle deposit state the value of the appliance. But yeah, I from speaking with our sort of target market, that's just one consideration for why they're interested in doing this. It's the same as with a fridge or a dishwasher. You don't buy it because it pays you back, or because it's giving you a financial return. But that is one of the great things about what we're doing as well.
Thank you.
Stuart, one question on the financing round. You mentioned that you guys are raising £15 million. That sounds like a lot of money. I mean, did you guys raise before? And why are you going for such a big round on a relatively low valuation, right? £15 million on a 33 million valuation. I don't remember whether it was pre-money. I'm assuming that it was pre-money. That sounds very unusual. So I was just wondering, what's your thought and what's your strategy around the financing?
Yep. So we have done a crowdfunding raise in 2019, and we raised we raised £500,000 through the crowdfund, and then we also got a significant investment following that from one of the crowd investors. And so the reason for the punchy raise this time around is that we need to get our commercialization to the level that we need it to be. That's really how much it's going to cost us to commercialize the product. So we don't really have much alternative in terms of how much we need to raise to actually get the product built.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Nice. And the last question, if anybody has. Okay. So thank you, Stuart. Thank you so much. And on startup number 8, we are going to have Kyriakos for the Freedom startup, Freedom name startup, and he will tell us more about new 3D experiences. Freedom. We see your screen and just need the full screen mode. Okay. It's fine now, but we don't hear you. Kyriakos, we don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. So all is fine now. You can start.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thanks for the invite. My name is Kyriakos Kyprianou, and I'm the co-founder and CMO of 3Dium. 3Dium specializes in providing the most engaging and interactive brand experiences through lightweight and lightning-fast 3D and AR formats, which can be applied to e-commerce digital advertising, and social media.
I'm sorry,
Using a
Kyriakos,
cloud-based-
can you switch on the video? We don't see you.
Sorry?
Can you switch on the video? Your video.
My camera is not working.
Okay, this is sad. Okay, anyway.
So sorry about that.
Yeah.
I was saying that using a cloud-based platform, Tritium enables brands to turn static images into fully interactive 3D and AR models that work seamlessly across digital channels. Today, I'd like to show you different use cases where 3D impacts the consumer at the different stages in the customer journey. So here at the awareness and display stage, it's essential that the first touch point is memorable and the lasting experience. Interactive 3D formats has shown to be an extremely effective way to redirect users to your desired destination. In this year, we made a 3D banner ad for that was programmatically distributed for Nissan for the launch of the new Nissan Qashqai, and the user had the ability to change colors and book a test drive. And same here with Sainsbury's, we created a 3D carousel with some of their skincare products to pull their users' intention and explore those products further. Now, in the consideration and education stage, this is where consumer evaluates the product, and it's critical to deliver key information to help and also persuade to make the best decision in terms of a purchase. So we do this as you see here with Diageo, with interactive hotspots that we can place around the model and trigger boxes that include text, images, or video, but also in AR, as here, the user can see the product in their space without the need of downloading an app, and you can check the quality and the actual size of the product. Now, on the last stage of the user journey, in the intent and decision stage, is where consumer has already decided on a solutions category. And here's where we think that a 3D configuration really shines, as it allows the consumer to explore a product in its entirety, zoom in and out with rich rendering, where they can clearly see the details, the materials, the textures, and the craftsmanship. This essentially bridges the gap between expectation and reality, because what you see is what you get, right? This is often an issue, though, with images, because they falsely represent the product. So let's say once you make an order, you have it in your house, then it doesn't look as great as what you saw online, and that's a major contributor to product returns. So this is a great way that 3D and AR reduces product returns and provides a more satisfying customer experience. Today, businesses of all sizes and industries use Tritium to bridge the gap between online and in-store experience. Thank you very much. You can reach me out at kyriakos@tritium.co.uk.
Hi, perhaps I can go first. We spent a long time looking at the actual product demo, and I have seen things like this before, even though you are ahead of the curve, but I wouldn't say this is necessarily new. However, you've got some clients on there, Sainsbury's and a few other big names. Perhaps you can just give us an idea of the uptake from these groups. Are they big contracts or early trials?
So I need to first of all let you know the way we work. We have a SaaS platform where brands or even Shopify owners can start building their own 3D and AR models through our SaaS we already have long-term agreements. We are the tech provider for all their 3D and AR models on their website. And I mean, per industry, we have market-leading clients, but also a lot of Shopify and Wix owners.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any other question?
Yeah, I've also seen like a similar solution before, and the problem is always the scalability. I mean, like there is some human interaction which is required to render one object. So I was wondering, how long does it take to render one object with your solution? And do you need a human drafting the solution as well, or the object, to make it 3D?
So it's basically photos, even from a smartphone, of the product from different angles, and that's all it takes. As I mentioned before, there are two options. Either you can start creating everything on your own, so it's up to you how long you will make the product, or you can reach out to our team or to our 3D modelers community, where we have more than 500 vetted modelers. And usually it takes 1 to 3 working days to deliver a 3D and AR model.
Okay.
And also in scale, that's why you have this, our community. We can provide to companies of 8 working days. It depends also from what kind of assets the client.
Hi, thanks, Kyriakos. I think we have like some kind of technical problems, and now I would like to pass the word to startup number 9. This is the last startup for today, and this is Keyless Technologies, and they will present some interesting new solutions in authentication. And hi, Zach.
Hey everyone, it's Fabian.
Oh, it's fine. Okay. So we hear you. We let me check if we see you. We see the print screen.
Yeah, you should also be able to see me.
Yes, we see you. Fine. Great. So we can start.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very excited to introduce you to Keyless. We are a deep tech B2B cybersecurity company building privacy-preserving biometric authentication and personal identity management solutions that are based on more than 10 years of research at the intersection of biometrics and cryptography in the form of frictionless login or passwordless single sign-on or universal biometric multi-factor authentication solution for the workforce, or a technical capability for businesses to strongly authenticate their users in a PSD2 and GDPR compliant way with a simple look in any front-facing camera without the dependency on a particular hardware vendor or software platform. We started in 2019, raised $5 million in seed funding to date, went through several accelerator programs in the past, and are live on the market with our products, where as a team, we built and shipped products in the past, and our co-founders are among the most influential scholars in the privacy and security space, with Giuseppe Agnese and Paolo Gasti, who've been working at the intersection of privacy-preserving security protocols and biometric authentication with the US Department of Defense and the National Science Foundation, and our team of 20 engineers and machine learning experts co-located between London, Rome, and Brno in the Czech Republic, where as a company, we set out on the mission to enable anyone to seamlessly access any digital service from any device while keeping your personal data safe, private, and under your control, where we saw that authentication and identity management are fundamentally broken, whereas users, we're all used to using passwords and PINs to access our online services, which isn't only cumbersome for us, but also for the business who has to securely store and manage our personal data, which is typically done in a central database that in turn attracts hackers to execute data breaches that result in compromised privacy and ultimately a significant financial burden. And when we look at the evolution of authentication, we've come from passwords over hard tokens, an added layer for security, to soft tokens, SMS 2FA on the consumer side, to biometrics, local biometrics, as we know it from Apple's Touch and Face ID systems that partially solve the user experience issues around passwords, but come with their own and quite severe limitations around interoperability, reach, and thus penetration of these solutions, to a future that we see private. And based on our team's research over the past decade, we are introducing the world's first zero-knowledge biometric authentication and personal identity management platform, where we are combining privacy-enhancing technologies with multimodal biometric authentication methods and machine learning that makes this platform that eliminates the need for businesses to store and manage passwords, biometrics, cryptographic keys, and other sensitive personal information without compromising on convenience and privacy for the user. Where for an individual, there's nothing you need to remember. You authenticate with who you are. You're always in control of your personal data, which in turn also means that it is compliant to privacy regulations by design, as the keyless biometrics are not classified as personal identifiable information. And we can achieve this through our novel distributed approach to biometric authentication that is based on a cryptographic primitive called secure multi-party computation that essentially offers multi-factor security by design, where we first verify the user's device, which can be any device with a front-facing camera. So an old iPhone without Face ID capability, an Android device, a tablet, a laptop, as a transparent factor in the background, as a possession factor, the face as a physical biometric, as the second factor, where we also ensure that you're a real human being, not a video or picture, through both passive or active liveness detection and user behavior modeling in the form of behavioral biometrics, as a third factor to harden the security in the authentication process, assuring privacy end-to-end in the process that we see as the foundation for disrupting authentication and identity management across sectors in use cases where at present we're very focused on passwordless authentication. In the enterprise, where we position ourselves uniquely in the market, combining the user experience and interoperability benefits of cloud solution providers who offer biometric authentication through the cloud that's accessible from any device, independent of the particular hardware vendor or operating system. But we do not store the data in a central database, which is a huge liability from a compliance and security perspective, and the privacy and security benefits of companies who leverage the local authentication technologies, such as Apple's Touch and Face ID systems, that may reuse a user to a particular device, your iPhone, where your biometric template is stored on the secure enclave. And from a company's perspective, it basically you give away control over the authentication experience and become dependent on the particular end user device that you're using. Important to note is that we're not only doing biometric authentication, but essentially biometrically enabled key management that will allow for many more use cases than just authentication, which is the use case that we're starting with and now working with providers in the education space, universities, banks and fintechs across our products for workforce authentication, strong customer authentication on the consumer side, and looking forward into personal identity management capabilities that would allow for selective disclosure of personal data in a more private and secure way, and basically giving ownership of personal data back to you as the individual users and your biometrics as the universal root of trust. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fabian. Questions?
Yes, do you mind if I go first? Thank you so much for this. I was just wondering if you've tested this against deep fakes and if the behavioral biometrics are enough to guarantee that added layer of security.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. In fact, yes, deepfakes is a good point. So one line of defense is that it is multi-factor by design, as you first have to have a trusted device as the first factor, which can be any device, and we generate a secret during enrollment that never leaves the device and perform a cryptographic proof, which makes the device the first factor in every authentication process. In the facial recognition, as an independent second factor, we also verify for liveness, which in turn, yes, there are deepfakes. What we're doing with deepfakes is we're using generative adversarial networks, the underlying technology behind deepfakes, to generate pictures in a privacy preserving manner, which when you think of biometric authentication is a huge limitation when it comes to availability of data sets and the bias for certain ethnicities, oftentimes white people and white celebrities as that's publicly available data sets. If you think of different ethnicities, age, biometric data is very biased. So we're using this technology to train the biometric engine. So you have a physical biometric, and then as a third layer, you have the behavioral element, and you cannot perform any authentication if you don't have all of this, as in one of your trusted devices, your fresh live sample of your physical biometric, the face that you present, hardened with your very individual behavior, which is interoperable across any device, and you need to communicate. So the authentication doesn't happen on the device, neither happens on the server side in a central database, but in a distributed cloud network where encrypted shares of your face are matched against encrypted shares of your face, which do not resemble personal identifiable information. At the very time when you present your face into the camera, it all looks and feels like Face ID, but nobody other than you has the ability to access and recombine both biometrics in the authentication flow, and at the end, your secret as a private key that you can then use to log into a service, authorize a payment, etc.
Okay, okay, understood. Thanks.
Fabian, I was just wondering, what's the average size of the contract that you're targeting? Because I believe that I read somewhere that you guys want to achieve 50 million top line revenue in 5 years. So I was just wondering, how many clients do you need to get there?
Okay, I mean, that's dependent on the number of users. It's different for the on the workforce and consumer side. On the workforce side, it's typical to multi-factor authentication solutions. You can think of $5 per employee per month and scale that by the number of employees. Obviously, a discount depending on the size of the workforce, and on the consumer side, very similar. But you could think of solutions like Duo Security and others who've been successful in that space. And on the consumer side, it starts from €1 per user per month down to a fraction of €1, depending on the size of the particular user base, which obviously is larger than the typical workforce that an enterprise has in place.
So you sign a university, right? How does it work, the pricing? Like, do you charge per student?
Yeah, yes. So we went live with the university in Italy together with our partner Cisco to allow their students to sit remote exams virtually. So there's 10,000 students who use Keyless for the summer exams, multiple thousands of authentication each day. And that is by number of student.
Yeah, one of them is my brother, actually, who studied at Luz University.
Okay, we can ask your brother for the feedback right after.
Fabian, could you describe a little bit, you said it's a partnership with Cisco. Could you describe a little bit about what they do and how you're working with them?
Yeah, so the exams run on Cisco WebEx as the video conferencing tool, and we provide the authentication in the Microsoft Active Directory federated services that links into Cisco and WebEx. And we, essentially partner with Cisco on a technology partnership for, projects in the very same space with other customers, which I can't, name and share, but it's a technology partnership, joint go-to-market.
Thanks, Fabian. And we finished our pitching. And now, dear jurors, you have 1-2 minutes to go through your evaluations and to check. Maybe you missed something. Maybe you would like to reconsider your evaluations. And in the meantime, I would like to pass the birds to Alexandra Soroka, and just be here in 2 minutes. We will announce the winners. I'm keeping the intrigue.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you, everybody, for judging today. And in a few minutes, we'll have the results of today's battle. And after that, we have an after party. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about different topics about venture industry in UK, probably. So it will be interesting to hear from local VCs to know what's going on there. And Giles, maybe I will ask you as the sponsor of Unicorn Battle as well to moderate this discussion. And you are in London, so you probably know a lot about
VC in London, right?
Yeah, so
Big pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, so it will be interesting, I think, to talk a little bit. So, Marina, do you have results?
Let me see if I have the last version.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Maybe I forget to vote.
The voting has been closed. So I'm excited to announce the third place winner. Oh, so here's our magical music. So the first place winner is Small Robot Company.
Oh.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
And the second place winner is Pink.
Thanks, wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
And now the number one. Number one is today is the last one, the lucky one. This is Keyless Technologies.
Wonderful.
Wow, congratulations.
Now, as I've mentioned before, we also have the results of our guests who were voting today. And let me see, what do we have there? Okay, and the guest chose, the guest chose Striking Live.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Striking Live, congratulations. You were the choice by our guests. So as we mentioned before, the winner is going to take part at the finals, at the Unicorn Battle finals, which is going to be online at the end of July. So as Anna said, 3 days online, and we will see you there.
Yes, you will get all the details from Marina. Get ready. You will be able to pitch in front of 150 top VCs from all over the world. It will be broadcasting widely all over the world. So you will get all the attention you need.
Great. Thank you very much.
That will be an amazing chance for all of you. And anyway, anybody who would like to be present, either from the side of startups or juries or as guests, you can find the information at our website about the Unicorn Cup at the same Startup.Network website. And now we have the networking time. So I'm excited to pass the word back again to Alexander Soroka.
Okay, so I really, guys, been to many battles, almost maybe more than half of battles that we have done in the last 6 months, because our first 20 battles probably we've done them offline, but then coronavirus came, and so we started to make battles online. So I've seen almost every battle, and I can say that the London is really a great city. And I mean that the startups which are presented here today is really probably maybe one level up than other cities. So Giles, what do you think? What is the reason? You've been to some battles as well?
Well, look, you know, I'm biased because although I've got a Yankee accent, I was born in the UK, and as someone who loves Europe, I know that the UK brings in talent from all over Europe. I lived for many years in Ukraine, and I know that there's a huge depth of Eastern European engineers here. I think there's plenty of funding available for startups in the UK versus other parts of Europe. A very good university system, and I think there's just a good ecosystem. I mean, I spent some time in Silicon Valley when I was in business school, and I know that that's still the sine non qua for startup networks. But I think that as far as Europe goes, London's a really dynamic place to be.
But most of the capital available, is it private capital, or is it like grants, public grants or something like that? Like in Singapore or Japan that we heard there's a lot of government money and easy accessible.
Well, it's both. Basically, one thing the government has done in the UK is given private investors a very strong incentive to invest in technology, and they get a very, very significant tax break to invest as a private individual. And then I think there's a lot of private capital because this is obviously still a world, financial center.
Okay, good. Does anyone would like to add something from their perspective of view? It would be really interesting to know what you think and how you feel being VCs in the UK.
So, Giles, have you been to our battle in New York or no? I don't remember.
I haven't. The last battle I was at was the battle in Istanbul.
Mm-hmm.
which was very different, also very interesting. And obviously Turkey is a fascinating market. I think the one thing that is also, but I mean, I think I'm saying what everybody knows already. One thing that's really driven the UK along from a technology scene is fintech, and so we've got a lot of large fintech players. But there's a lot of deep technology still done in the UK at the various universities. The UK's had a very strong heritage in computer science, the development of computers. As well as in space and missile technology. So I think you have a lot of the ingredients for a really robust technology scene that is being encouraged still by the government.
Okay, maybe some VCs, UK-based VCs, can tell us a little bit more what has changed after coronavirus. What do you see in UK? What's changing today?
Well, we have a lot more time to focus on investment and a lot less time to go to the pub. No, but I'll ask a question. For the UK-based VCs, I mean, do you invest in the UK primarily, or are you pan-European? I mean, for us, certainly, we have a strong focus on Eastern Europe, as I said when I introduced myself. But really, we end up looking at VCs that have a tie to Eastern Europe, but they tend to be based all over Europe, and so we end up sort of looking like a pan-European VC. How do other folks see it?
Yeah, I can go ahead on that one. We are obviously based in London, so I would say still the vast majority of deals that we see come from the UK, but we're trying to be a bit more pan-European, so invest anywhere in Europe and Israel. We've invested in Netherlands, Finland, Austria, Bulgaria, Romania, France, but I would argue that the UK and London is still the main hub for deal flow, at least for us. And to be fair, I believe it was going to be much more impacted with Brexit, but Brexit was put on hold, so we have yet to see that happening.
Thank you.
But do you see like any particular centers in Europe where like certain industries are concentrated? Like, for example, like Giles said that in UK that's fintech, like somewhere like we had seen a lot of like manufacturers startups in Turkey, right? More than anywhere else. Like maybe there is somewhere like deep tech, like for example, like in the USA, or everything is widely spread all over the world. Do you see like centers like this from your perspective of view?
We have good and deep sectors in the UK. So space tech is one that's rising fast in the south. Oxford and Cambridge have always been strong for life sciences, biotech, medtech, etc. And then of course London, and not just London, around the regions. London, yes, fintech, and traditional tech now, I guess. But we've got the regions are rising fast. Manchester, Birmingham, some areas of Scotland and Newcastle, and on the East Coast, all the regions are rising fast. And Brexit was mentioned ago. I think that's an opportunity for us. A lot of people are expecting a fail, but it hasn't been so far. And I know that we've got to come out of lockdown, but it could be our opportunity to be free to move how we need to move at this time. The European project is going to have its hands busy now. So we'll see, but maybe it's an opportunity.
Thank you, Aristos. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I would argue, obviously, to our benefit, I would say that prop tech, real estate technology is quite strong in the UK. I read somewhere that London alone has more startups than New York and San Francisco combined in prop tech. So that's weirdly one of the largest industries in the world, if not the largest one. And yet it is to be disrupted, you can argue. And there's many opportunities with, especially with coronavirus, that are out there for us to address, but it's definitely an area that obviously we are interested in, and we see more and more people interested in it, especially because now real estate companies are open to do pilots and to innovation in general.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing that.
Giles, do you have more questions?
Well, yes. When we go live in London, as like working through the Trafalgar Square, it's like.
Yeah, I was thinking that normally during networking we have pizza and beer, and obviously like this today.
Yes, but did you with this coronavirus thing going on, did you see any like funds shifting from like regular towards to the med tech?
I don't think so. I think it's clearly it's too early for that, and I think that the real question about the London market is obviously Brexit, and you know, we don't need to go too deep into politics here, but generally I would say that, you know, the UK, I can't stress enough how open the UK has been to immigration, and how much the tech scene has benefited from the fact that you have a really global population here. And so I've lived, as I'm sure many of the people in the call have, in many places, including New York and San Francisco. And as international as those places are, London is even more so. And so you've got people from all over the place, and that gives you access to deals all over the place. And you have a big market here. You know, it's a relatively high income country. It's a relatively large country. I think people forget how big the UK is. And so, you know, you've got not just fintechs here, but, you know, you've got large startups in healthcare like Babylon. You've got, you know, real big sort of AI companies, DeepMind. I think that someone was talking about space tech. I think something like 44% of the world's satellites are built in the UK, you know, and that's something that is a real heritage of the UK. So the question is, you know, what happens to that, you know, after Brexit, and hopefully the government will just come to some, you know, reasonable arrangements over time that will allow us to continue to have, you know, good movement of people, ideas, capital, both in to support, you know, large business British startups, and also out, because a lot of venture capital firms globally, you know, put their European headquarters in the UK.
Yeah, great. So you expect that to change after the Brexit, if like the Brexit happens? No?
No, let's keep it just like it is now. Let's put the pause, and let's allow things to stay free and flowing.
Absolutely. Me personally, I believe that startups and innovations, it's a global thing. It's a thing without borders, without nations. It's like open innovation is the whole world. So that's what I personally think and believe in. And that's why we are doing battles everywhere, right? Without limitations.
And it's interesting for me, Giles. There are probably two other big ecosystems in Europe. It's Berlin and Paris, and it's interesting for me if the startups from these ecosystems comes to London, to UK to raise money, and how often. And for example, if it's enough money in Berlin, maybe you see much more startups from smaller countries, I mean smaller ecosystems like Czech, Poland, or Austria, or can you say something about it or not?
Well, my sense is that I think Israel has a well-developed ecosystem of its own, and then I think it has a good relation with the U.S. Market, and so I think that Israeli startups tend to look to their own capital markets, let's say, and then they tend to look right over the Atlantic to the U.S. And get funding there. And my experience in Germany, and again, I would love to hear what everyone else's experience is that Germany is a very large market, but quite captive, and has a number of firms, VC firms, that are supporting German technology companies. So I feel like, you know, we see a lot less of German technology companies in the UK looking for money because they get funded in Germany. And so I think what we tend to see is companies from Eastern Europe, some companies from Southern Europe, and quite a few companies from Scandinavia. But I feel like France and especially Germany, you know, they have extremely self-supporting funding ecosystems.
It was my thoughts. Yeah.
We're
Great.
going to have also event in DACH region, which is Deutschland, Austria, and Switzerland. So
Yeah. When, Anna, when will be our next events?
Marina, it's your turn to show us the last slide, and we will be saying goodbye to everyone. And thank you very much for joining us for today's battle. And our next battles will be Marina.
Okay, our next battle will be in the Balkans, and also
we are not seeing your slide. We're seeing the page,
the
event
results.
page. Yeah, event page.
Yeah, now you see my slide?
Nope.
Okay, but I'm doing the screen sharing, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
You see now?
No. Okay, probably you just can say it.
Okay, I'll do it. Yeah. The next battles will be in Chicago in Balkans, and we have a couple more US battles such as California and Boston to go, and then we have DACH region, and we have Canada also. So please use this opportunity to go to us, to the rest of the world that is left, and of course join us for our Unicorn Cup at the end of July. So thank you everyone for participating today. See you all soon online.
Bye everybody, and see you soon at next battles.
Bye guys. Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Yeah, see you
Bye
online.
bye.